Will I do something?
Okay, so welcome everybody to the Thursday morning session. We'll start with Mariam Al-Hawaj from Toronto. Talk about generalized pseudo-Anosov maps for holomorphic dynamics.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. Today, I'll go over the constructing generalized pseudo-Anosov maps from holomorphic dynamics, and I'll start with I'll go over the motivation, and then I'll define pseudo-Anosov again, and Hubbard trees, and then I'll define crossing free Hubbard trees, and I'll go over the main results. So as maybe most of you know that the Nelson-13 classification showed that every orientation preserving homomorphism on a closed surface is either up to isotopy, one of three. It's either periodic, reducible, or pseudo-Anosov. Now, pseudo-Anosov have nice structure because they expand along a foliation by a factor of lambda, which is greater than 1, and contract along a transversal foliation by a factor of 1 over lambda, where lambda is called, we call it the dilatation of the pseudo-Anosov, and some call it the stretch factor, as Andre did yesterday. So Thurston showed that the dilatation of the pseudo-Anosov is an algebraic unit, and he conjectured that if lambda is an algebraic unit whose Galois conjugate lie in the annulus between 1 over lambda and lambda, then it's actually a dilatation for some pseudo-Anosov on some surface sigma. Now, pseudo-Anosov maps have a huge role in technical theory and geometric topology, and the relation between these and complex dynamics have been studied very well and inspired by Thurston. The goal of my project is to actually build a new connection between geometric topology and complex dynamics by constructing generalized pseudo-Anosov from pseudo-Anosov homeomorphisms on surfaces from, I'll say, from polynomials acting on the complex plane from complex dynamics. So given a quadratic map, can we construct a generalized pseudo-Anosov? And also it was mentioned yesterday that generalized pseudo-Anosov are foliation, they are pseudo-Anosov with foliations that have infinite singularities accumulating at finitely many points. So my construction is related to the dynamics on Hubbard trees. Now, these are by the definition. So starting, from complex, you know that if we start with a rational angle theta, then it determines a post-critically finite map of theta, and I can define the Hubbard tree to be the invariant subset of the Julia set, of the full Julia set that contains the critical orbit, which captures all the combinatorial information of the polynomial. So this is an example where f is, f theta is 1 over 5, the angle, and this map has the critical point of periodic, of period 4.
What is the rational angle determines a degree, or they are rational? This constant C.
Yeah. We have the Mandelbrot set. There is the external rays in the Mandelbrot set. So at each angle there is. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Yeah. So we have this is the example that we'll show here, and there is the critical point in the middle, and it is periodic of period 4. Okay, so we would like to characterize which Hubbard trees or which polynomials that we can construct the generalized pseudo-Anosov and which ones that we cannot do. And we found that the type of Hubbard trees that the construction is possible are those that are crossing free and non-degenerate. Now, non-degenerate means that the critical point is in the middle between an upper branch and a lower branch. As you can see here, I put them in red and blue. And then crossing free means that if we take the upper branch and lower branch under the map and look at the images, and we can fix the vertices and try to homotop them apart. If we can do that, then it is a crossing free. Otherwise, there will be a crossing. And here, these are examples. So at the top, you can see the tree, and then there's the upper and lower in different colors. And then you can see that easily I can homotop the blue from red. Whereas here, there is a Hubbard tree that has a crossing. This takes us to the result, which says that if T is a crossing-free non-degenerate Hubbard tree, then a generalized pseudo-Anosov can be constructed. Otherwise, we cannot. Now, this is a type of generalization to a work done by Ducharvel, as well as Hall and recently by Farber. So they did the construction of generalized pseudo-Anosov from real maps, that is from the interval. And this is a type of generalization to complex. Okay, so the proof of this theorem in one direction, it goes by construction. And so I'll try to maybe show how the construction goes. Okay, so I'll start with a tree. This is by example. So I'll start with a tree, which is the same example that we had. And the idea is to thicken the tree. And then, so this is the thick tree, so we'll define that. And then we will define a thick map. So let's see how it goes. So a thick tree is actually a closed topological two-disk consisting of leaves and junctions. The colored parts are junctions representing the critical orbits. And in between, there will be strips. So the idea here that maybe is not done in the work of Ducharvel and the other people is that I have a branch point in sometimes, and then I will need to figure out how to put the strips in there. So I will, usually strips are rectangles, and here I'll be representing that area where the branch, maybe I can point with this. So this area. So I can think about it as three rectangles attached together. So, there are strips, and if n junctions are connected, then we can attach them with n, rectangles. And after thickening the tree, we will define a thick map. So the thick map is taking like junctions to junctions. It stretches by a factor of lambda, compresses by, in the other direction by a factor of, I don't know if I used lambda again. Yeah, so, sorry, 1 over lambda. And so we define it in a way that will work for the construction. And then we will associate to F, to this map, a transition matrix, a Markov matrix, where each entry is actually the number of times, the image of one strip Sj crosses Si. So in our case, because I have 4 sides. So this is one side. I'll look at it this way. This is one side, and the other side. So I have 4 sides. It will be 4 by 4 matrix. And then I will start, with the train track. So constructing the train track starts with constructing, let's say, I'll call this tau node, where you can see here, there is in the upper branch and the lower branch. So there will be an arcs in the middle of the tree, and I'll call E to be all these arcs. And I will, they will end up in switches. And then we will start, this is the definition of a generalized train track, which it is actually going to be the union of all those, like I'll start, okay, maybe a picture would help to show exactly. I mean, these are, many, technically, what we do here is actually, I'll explain it here. So I'll start with the tree, with the map, and then I'll start with the first tau node. So looking at the middle of the tree with the upper branch and the lower branch as my tau node. And then I will apply the map to the train track here, tau node. So you can see the upper branch is going to be the whole left part, and the lower branch is mapped to the smaller one. And then I will do the isotopy, which is just, they're mentioned here, but you can think of them as that, like, as I'm compressing and squishing everything to the middle. So going back, I will see that, compressing everything to the middle is giving me this shape, which applying the map to this part, to this now tau 1, will give me this. So the dynamics here is actually, it's like, the critical point, which is in blue, is as if it's, pulled up. So that's the dynamics, and it will start forming loops. So after...
Comment here, because your picture is wonderful, but it's a bit small.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Some of us are old.
Okay, so maybe I can draw some.
So, anyway, so the point that between the first picture on the left and the next one, you've acquired an arc going through the blue part, right?
Okay, let me point. You're talking about these.
No, the one at the bottom. The bottom is the stuff you start with, right? And then you have the isotope, and then you acquire a little thing in the middle there, in the blue part.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're going to acquire now something at the top, a loop at the top yellow part.
Yes, and this is green. Supposed to be green. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I do the isotopy. You'll get the loop. Do you want me to draw like a bigger?
No, I'm just trying to. I kind of understand. I couldn't quite see what was going on.
Yeah, sorry for small picture because it has too many things. Okay, so we'll continue this way. So again, you can see after this picture, applying the map, the green goes to red. So the loop is going here, but then another new loop forming. Squish. I'll go to, again, the red goes to yellow, the blue is pulled up, and then new loop, forming. And then you can see that I'm getting infinite loops. Because every time these loops are not nested. So they are just coming to the sides and they're just adding, and it will be infinite loops, and we'll see later where the generalized pseudo-Anosov come from. Okay, so any question? Okay, so here now my train track with maybe a nice bigger picture. Okay, so the train track map.
Sorry, and then there are these ellipses, these dots,
yeah,
which means that there are infinitely many loops kind of going in those directions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I chose where the left, like the upper branch goes in the I'll say an embedding to the left, and I chose the lower branch to go to the right, and that will give me one direction that I go with. Okay, So this is now the train track map associated to the F, the capital F, which is just, a map on the train track. And using the Markov matrix that we had, we can, I calculated here the eigenvalue, the leading eigenvalue, which is going to be our dilatation. And calculating, and this was all mentioned yesterday in Andre's talk, so I'm showing you the details here. So here the eigenvector for the matrix, and then the left and right eigenvectors, and so these now I call them x and y, the eigenvectors. What I do now is take each coordinate from x with a coordinate in y. And those will be the dimensions of the rectangles that I'm constructing. Okay, so here, as I mentioned, so xi and yi, actually the same I, are going to be the dimension of these rectangles. Now you can see that there is these identification which are coming. So these identification coming from the junction itself. Okay, and then there will be. Okay, so then the train track map will induce an endomorphism that which stretches the foliation by horizontal lines. When I say horizontal, it's horizontal according to the rectangles. Like I'll think of a rectangle as one direction is horizontal, the other is vertical, and then it scaled the vertical foliation by a factor of 1/λ. Yeah.
This is a little oversimplified because there are infinitely many gluons around, right? On these outlets.
Not yet. I'll do that later. Yeah. So this, I'm not finished yet. I mean, this is the identification of just the main ones, but I'm coming now to show the other identifications. Yeah, thank you. So and then we have, okay, so R has the boundary homomorphic to a polygon, each of whose sides contains a periodic point of this endomorphism, which is a homeomorphism except on the boundary.
Maybe it's clear, but the letters mean that A on the left goes to A on the right.
Oh, yeah. So maybe I can talk about that. Yeah, so you can see applying the map to, this. So these are the rectangles identified. And then applying the map here, you can see that, C is going to, or I'll start with A is going to B is going to C, as you can see them here, and then C goes to A and D. So you can see, and D is pulled in the side. You can see that we are getting the same, still the same shape with, some changing and squishing and stretching. Okay, and then we can identify adjacent segments, as you can see. And the quotient surface is homomorphic to S2, and the periodic orbits, which are in the boundary, becomes a single point, which we call the point at infinity. Now, going, to identify the sides, which will these sides actually, represent. Here these. You can see the infinite identification, which represents the infinite singularities that we have. So to find these, we started with looking at C, which was here, that's mapped to both A and D. So I started with this identification, that's easy to see. And then this will be identified to the rest of this part. And then to find these identifications, I started with these identifications. And then I did the pre-image. So the pre-image will give me these identifications. which you can see that they are smaller by a factor of 1 over lambda. And again, going back, I'll come here, going back, give me these identifications. And then the rest these are coming from all the loops, the infinite loops. So you can see these points now will be identified to this point, to this point. And then, so all these points will be actually identified to as one single point. And by this, I don't know if it's, am I in a good time? Maybe a bit early. Oh, not yet. I forgot. So this is an example where there is crossing. So I started with this. Maybe the colors, I don't know if it's good with the projector. So you can see this map. I have the critical point going. So this Hubbard tree is of angle 3/16, and you can see this map and thickening it. I'm getting this. And then we have the thick map, and you can see, applying or defining the map, the thick map is giving me these things, which blue goes here, green comes to different color, I don't know, red to brown, brown to actually red, not to brown. Red goes down to yellow, and then yellow is going. No, yellow is fixed here, and then we have the purples going up. Yeah, so you can see that there is going up and down, which sometimes it can lead to a crossing, and in this case it did. And you can see here when I look at the tree, the upper and lower branches, the upper branch is mapped to the whole thing, whereas the lower branch is mapped, as you can see, and this part shows that I cannot identify, homomorph them apart. So in this case, you can see that there is a crossing, which means I cannot construct a train track, and this comes from the point where I cannot produce the train track. So the train track part is the part where it will stop. So the other direction of the theorem is going to be, the proof is, the idea of the proof is that maybe I can just show, starting with a pseudo-Anosov. So I can have this pseudo-Anosov, then thinking about the foliation. So let's say this is part of it. And then there's the transverse ones. And then I will try to project on the one foliation, I'll say the horizontal one, in the direction of the transverse foliation, and in that case, it will give me like a tree, and then you can see that because of the foliation, how they are defined, we will see that there will not be crossing in these, and that's the idea of the proof. And by this, I'm done. Thank you. Any questions?
So, how do you know some characterization of this crossing free, depending on the, like, say, irrational angle or something?
So, if I understand your question, what?
So, how do you know? Do you know a priori somehow, or some parameters, the potential polynomial, whether it'll be crossing free?
I mean, I did go in Mandel and looked a lot on these Hubbard trees, and then I'm only taking the Hubbard trees that are not non-degenerate. So there are lots of the star ones which I didn't care about, but then I found those trees which have the, going up and down and then up again. So those are where some of them still work. Because if you look at the tree itself, I can still have, for example, if I draw something here, maybe they're better. If I have a tree,
It's better than the others.
I'm thinking about the camera. So maybe, yeah. So maybe I'll just erase. I care about them. Okay, so for example, if we have a tree here, I try to remember my thoughts. So what I have, the question was which trees, and then let's say I have, this is the tree, and the upper branch, let's say, is going. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, if I have this tree where maybe I need colors. Okay, so let's say this is the lower branch, and this is the upper branch. Then let's say the upper branch is going to this thing, and the lower branch. Okay, maybe let's do upper branch is going to everything, and then the lower branch is going something like this. So if I have this, and I still can actually, because it's a tree, I can draw the lower branch like this, which you can see that there is no crossing. So yeah, so those that when I looked at them, and I can't remember now the angles, okay, but there are a type of, we can kind of figure out maybe in a way. Yeah.
Do you know just how many they are, depending on, say?
Not exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think the reasonable thing would be to say that for principal lanes, so if you go in every P over Q lane of the Mandelbrot sets, then there is one principal lane, like the one where the denominator is smallest. Like if you go to in the 1/3 lane, you go to theta equals 1/4. So for the principal lanes, in this case, you can always do it.
Yeah.
And outside the principal lanes, maybe you can never do it, but okay, that's more.
So that's the thing.
That would be a bit more. That would be a reasonable conjecture, but then we haven't finished that. Because if the rotation angle is say 2/5, then you can play this trick that she's saying. Like, okay, you can change you can swap the branches, and it's the same, basically the same as 1/5.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, we can look at these angles, and yeah. So this is the vein that we're talking about, and we can see that some places, as Julia said.
The questions or comments? Okay, so that's